Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun Christmas themed project video we're going to be back over on the TOOCAA 20W diode laser engraver making a miniature 3-dimensional wooden snow globe. I think this is going to be a really cool project to make and bring to life over here on the platform. I've already made it previously just to test the file. I like to test a lot of files when it comes to the laser engraver before I try to think about bringing them to video format over here on the platform, if that makes any sense. But you can see that I've already got the file loaded up onto the Lightburn software. That's the white screen, if you can see it there, lit up on the laptop. The TOOCAA 20W laser engraver has already got a piece of the 3mm craft plywood loaded into the laser bed on the honeycomb, and we're going to need 2 pieces of this very thin material. And keep in mind when using this material how thin and fragile it is, especially if you're going to cut out something very delicate. Remember, we cut out the very small Christmas lantern that was lit up by an electronic tea light, and that was very delicate. But you can see here the material, it easily warps and flexes with just a little pressure there. So I hope it goes without saying that any piece you cut out over on the laser will be very fragile. And due to the size of the laser bed, I will have to go in 2 individual passes to cut out all of the parts and pieces. But as I always say in laser engraver videos, if you have a bigger laser bed and a bigger honeycomb to lay material onto, you could probably do this project in 1 single individual pass. But when I seen this in the file packs, I think I picked it up off of the Etsy website. I'm not entirely sure. I knew that it would be a really cool project because it simulates wood bending with how the pieces are cut out over on the laser. So I thought it would be a really cool effect to show you guys. And since everything is pretty much prepped and prepared, let's get the safety UV goggles on, get the air filtration unit on to keep the air quality as clean as possible out in the workshop, and move the camera closer to the TOOCAA laser and get started. And before we get started, you can see I have the Lightburn software opened up, and I'm showing you guys how we will laser cut this project out. We'll go in 2 separate passes because the file is too large to have everything on the laser bed at one time. That square indicates the size of the laser bed, and we'll go in 2 separate passes. I've already got a piece of the 3mm craft plywood loaded into the laser bed, and we'll frame it out to make sure we are taking full advantage of the material. And I'll turn the GoPro on, and I'll close up the enclosure and hit start on Lightburn, and the TOOCAA 20W diode laser engraver will begin. And the TOOCAA 20W laser engraver is so amazing. It has this beautiful case that is translucent all the way around to allow you to safely peer in from virtually any angle. No matter where I'm at in the workshop, I can see the laser working and keep an eye on it. But I also like to add the GoPro, as you can see there, to the inside of the enclosure to give you guys the best view and vantage as possible. And obviously the footage is sped up here, but in case you guys were curious, in the Lightburn software, the settings I am using are a speed of 300, power 95%, 1 individual pass with air assist on. And you can see the laser is making quick work of the 3mm craft plywood. Here it is working on those simulated wood bent pieces. They are indeed very fragile. I hope it goes without saying with how thin the material is. And I've made pieces with this style of part on them before in the past, and again they're so fragile that I ended up breaking them and having to go back and make them over. So we'll be as careful as possible during the assembly process. And you guys know, after the laser always finishes up, I like to leave it setting for around 4 or 5 minutes to make sure that all of the smoke and the fumes are properly extracted out of the vent in the back, keeping the air quality in the workshop as clean as possible. I also have the air filtration unit running in the rafters of the workshop anytime the laser engraver is running. But we are almost done with the first pass here. And after the smoke has been extracted, I'll open the laser up, turn the GoPro off momentarily, and remove all of our pieces here, being careful with them. And then we'll load another piece of the 3mm craft plywood into the laser bed, and it'll be a rinse and repeat of us framing everything out and turning the GoPro back on and getting started again. I want to thank my buddy Robert up in New York for giving me a bunch of the 3mm craft plywood to work with. And if you guys are interested in laser engravers, I'd highly encourage you to check out TOOCAA's website. They are billed as the world's safest laser engravers. And if you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. But we are once again on the inside of the enclosure. And after Christmas, if you guys would like to see more laser engraver content like this, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to find some creative projects off of sites like Etsy to bring to life in future videos. But it did not take long to do this second pass here. And then we were ready to open the laser back up after everything had been extracted with the dust vent. And I moved the GoPro away. And now all of the laser cutting for the project is done, and I'll lay all the pieces on the Rikon table saw so you guys can see what makes up this project. And I'll also show you guys the simulated wood bent pieces, how fragile and flexible they are. Again, I just want to reiterate, be very careful with these pieces here, because even though they flex and bend, they are very fragile. But I will glue up and assemble the entire project with medium grade CA glue and activator from Klingspor Woodworking Shop. I always keep this stuff on hand. It allows me to work quickly and efficiently to make these project videos for you guys to view and hopefully enjoy. But after I glue each part on, I like to leave it sitting for around 2 or 3 minutes to make sure that the CA glue has completely dried and cured. And then I'll come back and start gluing more stuff up. Here's the simulated wood bent pieces. And I know a lot of people collect snow globes. I know there's several different types of snow globes, both big and small, that are themed to so many different things out in the big wide world we live in. But of course, when you think of a snow globe, you usually think of the Christmas and holiday season. Does not take long to glue this project up with the CA glue and activator. Again, just waiting between each glue up to make sure that that glue has dried and cured completely. And again, being very careful with the pieces. And the project really goes together smoothly because it is a slotted and tab design. Here we are gluing up the base. The little simulated wood bent pieces have little tabs in them that I'm slotting into their proper locations with dabs of CA glue and activator. But after this sets up and cures, it'll be time to glue the bottom on. And then after it dries completely, the project will be complete. But I think this would make a really cool Christmas project and gift to make to someone who likes snow globes or has a snow globe collection. Once I get done here, I'll give you guys a close-up view of it over on the workbench, but made completely over on the TOOCAA 20W laser engraver. And here we have the completed laser cut miniature wooden snow globe, laser cut completely over on the TOOCAA 20W diode laser engraver, and it came out beautifully with some immaculate and very delicate and fragile details, but as soon as you look at it, you can easily tell what it is. You do have the snowman and the Christmas trees on the foreground, and on the back piece, the backer board I would call it, you have the woodland forest with a deer off in the distance, all encapsulated in this round sphere of the simulated snow globe. And again, it simulates wood bending, and I hope it goes without saying that these pieces are very, very fragile and very tedious to work with, but just take your time with it. Don't be in a rush when you are assembling it, and you should do fine. And with the nature of the medium grade CA glue and activator that I like to use for all the projects out here, it did dry extremely quickly with the accelerator and everything, so I was able in a roundabout way to work quickly and assemble it in little to no time, allowing for the glue to completely dry and cure. Made from 2 pieces of 3mm craft plywood. I believe it's called basswood commonly, but really, really neat. It took the laser, again, 2 passes, as I said at the beginning, with 2 separate pieces of the material. The first pass with all of the wood bent parts, it took it around 40 to 45 minutes to laser cut all that. That's a lot of detail in all of the little simulated wood bending pieces there. And then the second pass only took around 15 to 16 minutes, but while the laser was running, I was able to do other stuff out here in the workshop. I was able to clean up some 3D prints, finish up some scroll saw projects, putting key rings on some compound cut keychains. And while I was doing all that, I had some good music going out in the workshop, and you know, the laser was making this beautiful miniature snow globe. I know snow globes are very popular among people, and a lot of people collect them like collector's editions. I know there's limited edition ones themed to certain movies. I know Jaws celebrated 50 years this year, 50th anniversary, and they made a commemorative Jaws snow globe that I'd love to have for my little Jaws collection. But here is one in real life to show you guys. This was one of my late grandmother's snow globes, and you can see there how it has the simulated glitter snow in it. I know there's more traditional winter ones made, but this one here was themed to fairy tales, the 3 Little Pigs, and it does have a music box in the bottom of it, and the tune for this one is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, a very common nursery rhyme song that you can sing and teach to the little ones. But they are always so mystical to look at and shake up and see the simulated snow in them. And I left this one that we made today on video natural. Again, I love the charred edge of projects made over on the laser, but by all means you could go above and beyond with a project like this and go in with acrylic craft paints and fill everything. If you really wanted to test your skills, you could fill the inside here, this inside layer that's about 1 inch thick. You could fill everything with like a clear resin to really give it that simulated snow globe appearance. And I do believe if you were good with electronics, you could go in here and put maybe an LED strip along the inside of it. But the project is finished as was intended, and the file that I got, I believe, again, it was off of the Etsy website. I can now take these safety UV goggles off and put them away. Again, I always try to remind myself to keep them on whenever I'm over at the laser staring at it, making sure everything is working properly. For the settings we used on today's project, I used a speed of 300, power of 95%, 1 pass with the air assist on, and you can see that everything came out nice and crisp, and there's no charring or discoloration on the back side of the pieces. So the laser done phenomenally. That TOOCAA 20W laser is amazing, and I love using it. Primarily I use it to make custom ornaments, like in bulk. If I've got to make some ornaments for a family with custom names on them or something like that for a business, I'll just knock all those out on the laser while I'm out here over at the scroll saw, because you guys know that the scroll saw is what I really love to use and everything. And I don't know if this one here was intended to have some kind of power bank or something put in it, like lights, as I said, or a music box, but it did have these slots indicated here, so I really don't know what that was for. But again, I wanted to make this project and bring it to life visually over here on the platform, so you guys could see that simulated wood bent appearance. We have done a previous project like this, a nice little miniature illuminated nativity scene we done last Christmas over on the longer Ray 5 20W laser, and now we've done this one here on the TOOCAA 20W diode laser engraver. Once again, showing off the versatility, and that laser is so amazing with the enclosure. It's got the translucent orange material that allows you to safely peer in without damaging your eyes, but again, I still allow or try to remind myself to keep the safety UV goggles on whenever I am nearby the laser. If I'm just passing by or something, just keep an eye on it. I'm totally cool with that. And again, I hope it goes without saying, with the nature of the laser, you never want to leave it unattended for too long. Of course, you can go get a nice sip of coffee or water or refreshment, quickly step away to use the restroom if you need to. But again, those are tools that you do not want to leave unattended. And they are becoming more and more affordable for weekend and hobby woodworkers to have out in their garage or workshops. But with all laser engravers, I would highly encourage having an enclosure like the TOOCAA 20W diode laser has, and a proper vent system to pipe all of the smoke and fumes out of your garage or workshop to keep the air quality as clean as possible. I'd love to see someone make this project here and go in and paint everything with acrylic craft paints or something and really jazz it up and really give it that Christmassy style flair for the season. But of course, this doesn't have to be themed to Christmas as we have done it in today's video. It could of course just be a wintertime scene, you know, because the Christmas trees here on the front are not decorated with any decorations, and it's just a nice snowman. Snowmen are popular throughout the whole winter season, you know, before spring comes around. So it could just be a nice little knick-knack, or if you know someone, a family friend or loved one, that likes to collect these snow globes, it might be a really cool keepsake gift to make and give to a loved one in a wooden manner, to show them that you thought enough about them and something that they collect to make something for them out in your garage or workshop. I do hope that makes sense what I just said. But there are other varieties of these snow globes available. I do believe there's different themed ones. I do believe you can also get just a blank file to put whatever design you want in there. So you could theme it to several different things. You know, you could make it an award if you wanted to. Drop a logo in here and just have like celebrating first place, second place, third place, something like that. Just thinking outside of the box here, you know. So options and versatility for laser engraving and laser cutting, just like wood scroll saw woodworking. But again, that simulated wood bent piece is very, very fragile, so you do have to be careful while you are assembling it. But I hope along the way, from the beginning of the video until now, you guys picked up a tip, trick, or tidbit along the way, and I hope it inspires you to make a simulated wood bent project over on your laser if you have access to one or you own one out in your garage or workshop. But that's going to be about all for this one. Thank you all for following along from start to finish. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you guys. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys real soon.